Hello everyone, my name is Chris and today I'll be explaining 10 things you may have missed in Fallout New Vegas. Let me know if you knew any of these facts, and if you have any additional secrets that isn't well known, feel free to let me know in the comments. As always, there are timestamps in the description if you wish to skip to a particular fact, but without further ado, let's get into the video. Number 10. Reopening the Vikki and Vance Casino. The Vikki and Vance Casino is the derelict casino that all the residents of Prim are hiding within when you first arrive. What you may not know is that you can actually reopen the casino and even gamble like normal inside. After completing the My Kind of Town side quest by bringing Law back to Prim, wait a few in-game days where you will encounter some NCR deserters within the casino.
What are you doing here? This is our casino, punk. I like to think that we're prisoners of war that managed to escape before capture.
Deal with them by either convincing them to leave or killing them.
Fuck, we lose again. We heard Prim was ripe for the picking, so figured we could come here and shake down some of the suckers. We weren't expecting a sheriff here.
Wait 3 more in-game days where the casino floor will become live once more, allowing you to play at the casino. You can even gamble, win and become banned from gambling. You do not need to do this though for the achievement to become banned from every casino, and you can skip this one if you wish. Number 9. Doc Mitchell's Vigor Tester Machine Dialogue. We all know the beloved Doc Mitchell who fixes you up at the start of the game. When distributing your special stats, Doc Mitchell may comment on your score depending on how you've distributed your points. What you may not know is the amount of dialogue lines that Doc Mitchell can say depending on your stats. He will have unique lines for every stat that is either the highest or lowest out of your stats. When strength is your highest.
Surprised anybody'd want to tangle with you. Heck, you could go Deathclaw hunting with a switch.
When strength is your lowest.
That's some serious atrophy, even for someone who's been in bed a while. It's a wonder you can move at all.
When perception is your highest.
Nothing gets by you, huh? Could have used you when I lost my keys last month.
When perception is your lowest.
Now, I ain't no optometrist, but maybe we should fit you for some glasses while you're here.
When endurance is your highest.
I guess that explains how you're still alive. You're built solid as an oak.
When endurance is your lowest.
I just don't get it. A stiff breeze would tear you in two, but a couple of bullets and you're right as rain.
When charisma is your highest.
Good to see them bullets didn't affect your charm none.
When charisma is your lowest.
Huh. Must be some frontal lobe damage.
When intelligence is your highest.
Look at that. Maybe them bullets done your brain some good.
When intelligence is your lowest.
Sorry, son. I fixed up your head as best I knew how. I guess I missed a spot.
When agility is your highest.
Most patients don't get out of bed after being shot and then move like they was in perfect control. You're unusual, I'll say that.
When agility is your lowest.
Don't have all your coordination back yet, looks like. You should think about doing some rehab.
When luck is your highest.
With luck like yours, I'm surprised them bullets didn't just turn right around and climb back into the gun.
When luck is your lowest.
Now that don't make a lick of sense. Seems to me you're the luckiest son of a gun in New Vegas.
And finally, if all stats are pretty much equal.
Yeah, that's a pretty standard score there, but after what you've been through, I'd say that's great news.
Number 8. Cow tipping. The mutations of cows in Fallout, or Brahmin as we know them, are well known throughout the series. From basic livestock to pack mules for traders, they are found throughout the game. One of the more harmless things you can do is actually tip the Brahmin over. Crouch down and either unarmed or with a weapon holstered, press the activate button where you will tip the Brahmin over. The Brahmin will ragdoll for a few seconds before getting back up like nothing happened. There are no karma penalties for doing this, nor will anyone become hostile to you even if they own the Brahmin. There are 3 known exceptions to this. The first are the McBride's Brahmin within Novak, the second will be Queenie from Cook, and the third will be pack mules. A harmless and funny thing to do, you can do this throughout the series and New Vegas is no exception. Number 7. Legendary enemies. You may be used to finding legendary enemies within Fallout 4, but there are actually legendary enemies within New Vegas as well. Within several locations, there are 5 distinct legendary versions of normal enemies you can encounter in the game. These are legendary versions of the Fire Gecko, Deathclaw, Cazador, Bloatfly and Night Stalker. You do not get any unique loot from defeating these enemies, but they do offer a tougher challenge than the standard counterpart. The legendary versions boast a higher amount of health and deal significantly more damage. The Bloatfly can be found within Big Mountain in the Mysterious Cave. The Deathclaw can be found within Deadwind Cavern next to the unique weapon Mercy. The Fire Gecko can be found within Fireroot Cavern. The Cazador can be found within the Sulphur Peak Mine. And finally, the Night Stalker can be found within Bloodborne Cave. Number 6. Prospectors return to the Den. Just north of Nipton lies the Prospectors' Den that has been taken over by the Jackals gang. The gang has killed the previous occupants and taken the location for their own. But did you know that if you decide to head into the Den and take out all of the Jackals members, the Prospectors return to using the Den. Head into the Den and take out the Jackals, then leave the area. Wait a couple of days, head back to the Den where the location will be filled with Prospectors. Just a little piece of world building that is easy to miss. Number 5. The Nellis Train Tunnel. We're all familiar with the boomers and having to dodge their artillery fire in order to get to their base. But did you know there's actually a hidden tunnel you can use to head through that gets you very close to the gates of Nellis? Start at Raoul's shack and head east where you will come across an unmarked train tunnel with a very hard locked door. There were plans for a key to be added to open this door, however it was cut from the game. If you're able to pick the lock, you will enter the tunnel which will be full of glowing one ghouls. The tunnel is a linear corridor and doesn't take very long to get through. Once at the end you will need to pick another very hard locked door to exit the other side. Once outside you will be very close to the Nellis base. Follow the right hand tracks to the fence and then head left along the fence line to avoid the bombardment entirely. This is one I had only just learned about despite playing the game for years. Number 4. Child Future Seer. Within the 188 trading post there will be a named child NPC known as the Forecaster underneath the bridge of the location. The child is able to share his thoughts to the courier for 100 caps 3 times on 3 topics described as you, here and everywhere.
Okay, let me take off my medicine. Your face does the thinking. 2 to the skull, yet 1 gets up. Odds are against you, but they're just numbers after the 2 to 1. You're playing the hand you've been dealt, but you don't let it rest. You shuffle and stack. And a gamble. A gamble that may pay off, but how? Forecast? Rapidly changing conditions. Let me take off my medicine. Bull and bear over the dam, at each other's throats. But a light from Vegas? Balls spinning on the wheel, more than 2 at the table, placing bets. All lose in different ways. A dam of corpses, towns of corpses, scattered across the sand. But whose? In what shares? Even the dealer doesn't know. Forecast? A rain of blood will flood the desert and not purify it. I need to take off my medicine. Local. The here and now. Little of interest. Things to buy. False hopes and regrets watered down, washed down in dirty glasses. With regret comes a girl, smiling sad, brown robe, named Veronica. Half here, wraps her and her heart up like a pack. In the pack, a key some say. Forecast, cloudy with a chance of friendship.
Easily missed, the child can give you information on what is happening in the Mojave as well as yourself. Although not the most helpful information, it is still an interaction a lot of people miss and is quite a unique interaction. Number 3. Goodsprings versus the Powder Gangers. We all know the conflict that can happen between Goodsprings and Joe Cobb's gang of Powder Gangers. If choosing to side with Goodsprings, you will get the option to recruit a few of the NPCs around town to help you fight. What you may not know is that during this battle you can actually ask Victor to help during the fight as well. Despite asking him to help and despite him agreeing, Victor will not show up during the fight.
Trouble with rustlers, huh? Count me in, partner. Those varmints will be running home with their tails between their legs soon enough.
The player can head back to Victor and ask why he wasn't there, to which Victor will reply that he had fallen asleep.
Howdy, partner. So when do the rustlers show up? Really? I must have dozed off. Although that's never happened before.
If one has a science skill of 25 or above, you can find out that Victor was remotely deactivated, meaning Mr. House stopped Victor from intervening.
Alright, but put everything back the way you found it. Override? That can't be right. Probably just a malfunctioning tube somewhere.
Whether this is Mr. House testing the player or not wanting to waste his Securitron on some powder gangers, it is still an interesting interaction nonetheless. Number 2. The Missing Repconn Sign letter. Most players will head to the Repconn test site for Manny Vargas in order to solve the ghoul problem there. Upon getting to the entrance of the building, you will see the Repconn sign outside with a missing O. At first, it may just be presumed that it was damaged from the apocalypse. However, if you head to the Gibson scrapyard, you will see Old Lady Gibson sitting outside as usual. If you look closely on what she is sitting on, you will notice that it is the missing O from the sign. A subtle detail that can be overlooked and may be true to real life if people would need to scrap for things such as furniture. Finally, at number 1, Victor's empty shell. Another Victor fact, and also one I had only just discovered. During your choices of New Vegas, depending on which faction you side with, you may need to either kill or disable Mr. House. Of course, this stops his control over his Securitron forces, but it also removes Victor from the game entirely. If one has removed Mr. House from play, you can head back to Goodsprings and head to his shack. Outside of his shack will be his Securitron shell, empty of any personality or AI, but just cycling an idle animation. If you interact with the shell, the game will say that the shell is void of any AI, confirming Victor's permanent death. And here we have my top 10 things that you may have missed within Fallout New Vegas. I hope you found this video helpful, and as always, thank you for watching.